second part of Puzzle Piece this week, and as Ozzy took last week, he was talking about how God shapes us for building His kingdom. And today I'm bringing the second part, and first point was that us as Christians, we all have a part to play as believers. We all called to serve God. As if we say we're a Christian, we're called to serve God. It says in the Bible that Jesus Himself came to serve, not to be served. And us as servants should obey the Master as servants. And ultimately, you're shaped to serve God, and that brings Him glory and should bring you joy. And what was my second point? My second point was that God has placed individual talents and gifts within your lives, each and every one of us. If we say we're Christian, God has something for you to do, whether that's in church and outside the church, wherever. God has a gift for you, a talent for you. He wants you to use to build His kingdom, which is why we're all shaped individually in unique ways. Not everybody has the same talents. So I'll give an example. For myself, I play drums in church, which many of you may know. I help at youth now. I'm a youth leader, and serving God is not easy. I'm going to be honest with you guys today. Some of you, I know, some of you might serve in church, some of you don't. But serving God is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. Myself, I'm going to be honest with you. I usually play every Sunday. For the last couple of months, I've been playing every Sunday. It's not easy. Waking up in the morning, and some mornings it's really tough. It's really tough. But I have to keep reminding myself, I'm not doing this for myself. This is for God, and He deserves my service, because He's given everything to me. I have to give everything back to Him. I have to remind myself every morning. So it's important, if you say you're serving God, that you're serving God, you do it knowing it's not for you, it's for God, ultimately. And some of you might not be serving. For those who are not serving in church or in everyday life, you can serve God. And the way you do that is by living a life that is according to His will, that is according to the Bible. That's living a true Christian life. That's the ultimate service you can give God, obedience to Him, obedience to His word. Always following what He says, looking to Him. In God's eye, that's an act of service to Him, and that will bring Him glory. And it says in the Bible that He will reward you. He will reward you if you serve Him faithfully. And it's an act of worship as well, service. It's an act of service. When you're living a Christian life, you're serving God, it's an act of worship. It's an act of surrender. You're saying, it's not about me, it's not about what I want, what's going to build me, it's all about God. Because it was Him at the beginning, it was Him at the end. It's His story, not yours. That's what the Bible says. And like a servant should obey his master, you should do so with God as well. Amen? And so if you're Christian, you say you're a Christian here today, and you say you cannot serve God, that's not true. You should be serving God in your everyday life, in the way you lead your life, in the way you talk, in the way you walk, in the way you treat your parents, in the way you treat your friends. That's all an act of worship. That's the ultimate mark of a Christian, being a servant. And some of you here may be serving and may think what I'm doing is nothing compared to what He's doing. And we can do that as Christians. We can compare. Some of us are pastors. Some of us are just packing the chairs, and we think, oh, pastors are more important. But no, in God's eyes, everything fits in. Everybody is equal. There's no one that's above each other. We're all on the same plane level. And one thing about serving God is that it will not mean that he will not save you. Serving God will not save you. In the Bible, Isaiah 6:4-6, it says, "But we are not, and all our righteous acts are as filthy rags." So you serving God does not mean you're going to spend time. You're going to get you're going to have eternity. It's only Jesus Christ that what He done on the cross that will allow you to spend eternity with God Himself. And before I finish, I'm going to read you a parable, which is the parable of the talents, which many of you may know from junior church maybe. And this is how it goes. "For it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted them with his property. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. He who had received 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made 5 talents more. So also he who had 2 talents made 2 talents more. But he who had received 1 talent dug it in the ground and hid his who had received the master's money. Now after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled the accounts with them. And he who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 talents more, saying, 'Master, you delivered to me 5 talents. Here I have made 5 talents more.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master.' And he also who had 2 talents came forward, saying, 'Master, you delivered me with 2 talents. Here I have made 2 talents more.' And his master said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master.' He also who had received 1 talent came forward, saying, 'Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where scattered no seed. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours.' But his master answered to him, 'You wicked servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown, and gather where I scattered no seed. Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I should have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have in abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away from him.'" That's the parable of the talents. And from that parable, what you get is you should not bury your talent, your gift, whatever that God has given you. Some of you here are future band members, future leaders, and some of you with other gifts and talents. And I would encourage you, young people, do not bury your talents. Use your talents. And some of you may think, "Oh, no, that's worthless. That's not going to be useful to the church." I encourage you, no, don't think that way. Don't be shy over your talent. Don't be confident in your talent. If you believe that God has given you a certain gift, a certain talent, I pray that you would move forward and that you would not, that the enemy would not pull you back, that you would keep striving to use your talent in serving God.